Hey everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are safe, you are well, and you are with someone you care about who also cares about you. If you hear a random noise in the background, that is because my wife is in the shop doing woodworking, because yes, I think for the first time ever, I'm recording a Sunday musing on a Sunday. I'm filming this the day before I make my trip down to LA, and I've had a really good topic. So as I own the channel, I decided, yeah, I'm going to do the Sunday musing before I head off. And hopefully when you watch this, you'll be able to leave your thoughts in the down below so that, you know, I get to see all of your amazing thoughts about the topic of today's discussion. And that is, do you get anxiety about road tripping in an EV? Now, we've talked before about, you know, worrying about charging, worrying about distances, worrying about charging time, worrying about charger availability. But in preparing this road trip, which I think I can probably come clean now, by the time you've seen this, I will have headed down to LA to see the brand new 2026 Chevrolet Bolt EV. Chevrolet invited us down. Chevrolet paid for our accommodation at the event and also very kindly paid for our hotels on the way down, because I stupidly found myself volunteering to drive Orion, my wife's 2017 Chevrolet Bolt with what, 135-ish thousand miles on the clock. I decided to drive that all the way down to LA in honor of the new Bolt, and also as a bit of a, hey, is the old Bolt still doing well? After 8 years, can this car still make a really decent long distance schlep? Of course, the last time I took a long distance trip in the Bolt was my own Bolt, and I drove down to LA and back, I think in it was 2 days down and 2 days back. I was driving on my own, and that was for an awards ceremony that I attended. And back then, the charging networks were certainly not as comprehensive in their coverage as they are now. Obviously, Bolts didn't have access to the Tesla supercharger network. I know that's changed things a lot. But looking at my route plan, I also noticed that some of the stops I have been suggested to stop at, and I obviously don't know yet whether I actually stopped at them or whether I ended up stopping somewhere else, were Rivian network charging stops. And given how unreliable Electrify America can be, I'm very curious to see if these new charging stops and access to these new networks means that the trip was nary a problem. And I'm curious if you worry about things like vandalism and if that puts you off long distance travel, because you are very much still in the hands of the gods when you do a long distance trip. Even if you're in a car that has telematics that can tell you, yeah, these stations are occupied and not, they're not always very reliable. At least that's certainly been my experience with the F-150 Lightning. But of course, there's also worry about, you know, you're in a strange place, you're in a strange area. Even if you are a very, very seasoned EV driver, there's going to be terrain that you may not be very familiar with, and that may or may not influence how comfortable you feel about making that long distance trip. So I would love to know if all of that kind of vibes for you, or if you end up feeling a little nervous still today and end up finding an alternative route. I know for a fact that Vi, and I don't think they'd mind me admitting this, Vi is very nervous about doing this trip down to LA because Vi owns a Bolt but doesn't have charging at home and does have to rely exclusively on public fast charging, and that has sometimes not been the most reliable, even here in the kind of greater Portland, Oregon area. So obviously, it's going to be a fun trip. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't done a long distance trip in the Bolt for a long time. The last long distance trip I made was in the F-150 Lightning. That would have been February, March time. this year when I drove down to Sacramento to pick up the batteries for the Vectrex project, which is still ongoing, by the way. There will be an update video coming soon. I've finally learned how to use the Carveria Air, and I am succeeding in CNCing, which is something that I never thought I would find myself saying, but that's pretty cool. But tell me in the down below, are you yay or nay when it comes to long distance road trips? Are you worried about just oversubscribed charging stations? I know in some parts of the world there's still too many EVs for the charging stations that exist, or rather the charging stations are not reliable enough to sustain the number of EVs now on the road. I know that's certainly still true in certain parts of the US. And obviously, here in the US, there are certain parts of even the West Coast, like I'm going to be traveling through Oregon and Oregon and California. Wouldn't be traveling in Washington. It's late in the day, okay? I'm going to be traveling south through Oregon because I live in the northern part of Oregon, and then pretty much all the way through California. And there are parts of both Oregon and California that I will have to stop at where, you know, if I have trouble with the charging, some of the people in those areas may not be very welcoming towards EVs. Let's just leave it at that. And I know there is some anxiety for me, and I'm more worried about that than I am about the actual charging stations functioning and giving me a decent charge and getting me back on the road again. The weather's going to be good. We don't have any worries there. And I think it's going to be a great trip. But tell me, am I crazy? Was I crazy to do this trip? Would you do this trip in a Bolt? I suspect many of you would not. Let me know your thoughts in the down below, and I will see you this time next week. And by golly gosh, we will nearly be halfway through October. In fact, we will be halfway through October at that point. Wow. Better start your holiday shopping, eh? We'll have some ideas on that one coming soon as well. Thanks for watching us today. You can connect with us on Patreon, Discord, Mastodon, Blue Sky, or through our website. Huge thanks to the amazing folks scrolling by right now. You're the reason we can stay independent and keep making content without corporate influence. And right now is a perfect time to join. Through September and October, we're running our autumn Patreon drive. Sign up and you'll not only support the channel, but you'll also get an exclusive piece of digital art from Erin. Want to see your name here too? Support starts at just $1.50 US a month, and you can even gift memberships. And of course, a massive welcome to our newest members: NYTMR, Chris Wright, C&K Adventuring, Andy Pyatt, Gerald Eden, Carlie, Chip Chandler, Robert Nelson, 00 Critical, Tom Fagden, Barry 2379, Mike Coffeen, James River, Eric Knack, Hans Rose, DW, Meryl Fratkin, Kristen Rasmussen, MX Menivar Vargas, Stephen Nichols, Panther Legion, Kitsa Prida, Bark Eater J, Jeff Good, Conrad Zalance, Frank Snyder, Jeffrey Smith, Tony Roberts, Matthew Frake, Jacqueline Cockburn, Fritz Coker, Trans Vegan Cyclist, Jade Diaz, Laura Shear-Clark, Everett Garnett, Peter Broadwell, Jeremy Redmond, Patrick Matthias, Pamela Not Pam, Dave Fry, Mark Anderson, Tal Hobson, C. Daniel Tideman, Martin May, Fee, Donovan, Date Downs, Matthew Buckar, Zach C, Taraki, Kathy Windandy, Alex, Patricia Connor, Lindy Melendez, Dameron Can, Gary Robotham, Dave Miles, Tina Pongnish, Mark Kruger, and Tyler Walker. Thank you all for joining in the last month. You're helping us hit our goal of growing Patreon support by 20 to 40% this autumn. Prefer a one-off contribution? We've got Ko-fi, Bitcoin, and a PO box, our swag store, and even an Amazon affiliate link, so your money helps us, not Jeff Bezos. We post new videos every few days on the main channel, plus extras on Transport Evolved Take 2. And since YouTube comments aren't safe for us anymore, the best way to chat is through Patreon, Mastodon, Blue Sky, or our website. If you want more, the algorithm thinks you'll like this video, but we'd love you to check this one out too. Be awesome, be kind, be intentional, and never forget to resist. Keep evolving!